Hello, ladies and gentlemen. I am Deron Butler, welcoming you to another edition of Heat Zone Live. The Miami Heat are in the city of brotherly love as they take on Tyrese Maxey, Paul George, Andre Drummond, and the Philadelphia 76ers. This one should be another high-octane, high-scoring matchup between two Eastern Conference teams looking to make big waves in the league. So here are my three keys for this afternoon's game. Key number one, Bam and Kel'el Ware need to continue dominating the paint. Joel Embiid is not playing in tonight's game, but Andre Drummond, as I mentioned in the introduction, will be playing for Philadelphia. What that means is that Bam and Kel'el Ware will need to establish their length and their strength to mow down Andre Drummond, who's been playing in the league for a long time. He's played for such teams such as the Detroit Pistons and the Milwaukee Bucks. So this one should be a powerhouse match between three big men. The key number two is dictate and outpace Tyrese Maxey. Tyrese Maxey is one of the fastest players in the NBA, aside from De'Aaron Fox. Tyrese Maxey put up a monstrous 54-point performance for the Sixers a few nights ago. So if the Heat need to put a dent in Maxey's game, this will be the game to do it. Their defense and their pacing will be the key to slowing down Tyrese Maxey. And number three, utilizing the transitional game on both ends of the floor. Miami utilized their defense and their offense as one cohesive unit 2 nights ago against the Chicago Bulls. This time they'll need to do that while utilizing the transitional game, slowing down the Sixers on both ends of the floor and making sure they don't get the ball up to the floor, and getting their baskets is very paramount. So those are my three keys for today's game, and I'll be back for player introduction and opening tip-off. Yes? And we are back. Here's the starting lineup for both teams. With the Miami Heat, we have Norman Powell, Davion Mitchell, Pelle Larsson, Bam Adebayo, and Kel'el Ware. And for the 76ers, we have Quentin Grimes, Tyrese Maxey, Justin Edwards, Paul George, and Andre Drummond. Both teams are done warming up, and we should be ready for opening tip-off. As I mentioned before, Tyrese Maxey, he had a 54-point monstrous game from a few nights ago. Hopefully, he won't have that same number of points against Miami. The Heat, meanwhile, they've been on a roll, winning three of their last 4 games, especially with the production and return of Bam Adebayo. So this one should be another high-octane, high-scoring affair between two Eastern Conference teams looking to have postseason ambitions. And Miami wins the opening tip, but the ball sailed right out of bounds, so it will be Philadelphia ball. Alright. Paul George will inbound the ball. Alright. They give it to Justin Edwards. There's Tyrese Maxey. Maxey being guarded by Davion Mitchell. Drummond with that nasty screen, and that's going to be an offensive foul. So it will go right back to the Miami Heat. Drummond shuffling his feet. That was an illegal screen. Alright, Miami now has the ball. They give it to Norman Powell. That's a 3. And go Norman Powell Ranger. That's a 3 to put Miami on the board. Here comes the Sixers now. Tyrese Maxey being guarded by Davion Mitchell. Paul George sets the screen. That's a 3. And Tyrese Maxey ties the game at 3 for Philadelphia. Davion Mitchell gives it to Pelle Larsson. Larsson drives into the lane. And that's going out of bounds on Miami. Sixers have the ball. Here comes Tyrese Maxey. Another 3, and that's a miss. Rebound by Kel'el Ware, gives it to Davion Mitchell. Davion flies in, gives it to Bam, and Bam gets the hook. Miami retakes the lead. Tyrese Maxey now. He's bringing it up to the floor. Kicks it out to Paul George. That's a 3 on the way. Paul George misses it. Rebound by Andre Drummond. Drummond kicks it out to Paul George. That's another miss. Rebound by Paul George. And that's going to be a foul. Nice heads up play by Paul George to get the pump fake and to draw a foul. And I think that foul was on Bam Adebayo. No, I'm sorry, that was on Kel'el Ware. Alright, Paul George will go to the line for 2 free throws. He makes the first. And he makes both free throws. So we're all tied at 5. Here comes Norman Powell. Drives into the lane and he gets the layup under duress. The Heat lead by 2. Tyrese Maxey gives it to Quentin Grimes. That's a 3. And that's a miss. Rebound by Kel'el Ware. And here come the Heat. Davion Mitchell going coast to coast. Kicks it out to Pelle Larsson for the 3. That's a miss. Rebound by Kel'el Ware. Blocked by Drummond. Rebound by by Kel'el Ware, and Kel'el Ware with the fancy footwork to get the layup. The Heat lead by 4. Here comes Justin Edwards, being guarded by Bam. Kicks it out to Paul George, who loses the ball, but gets it back. Gives it to Justin Edwards. Back out to Paul George. That's a 3. And Paul George misses again. Here come the Heat. Norman Powell. That's a 3. And go Norman Powell Ranger. That's a 3 for Miami. And the Heat lead by 7. Here comes Paul George, being guarded by Bam. Now guarded by Pelle Larsson. Kicks it out to Edwards. Back out to Tyrese Maxey. That's and Tyrese Maxey knocks down the fadeaway. Philadelphia trails by 5. And ball is knocked loose. Here comes Philadelphia. Paul George. And that's going to be an offensive foul. That was a hard charge Pelle Larsson took. Right now, this has been a tough and tumble game early in the contest. Pelle Larsson took it right in the chest. And that's going to be another foul on Philadelphia. This one on Tyrese Maxey. So we should see 2 free throws for Davion Mitchell. Davion Mitchell knocks down the first. And makes both free throws. The Heat lead by 7. Miami's been on a 9-2 run so far. Here comes Philadelphia. Tyrese Maxey being guarded by Davion Mitchell. And Tyrese Maxey will go to the line for 2 free throws. Tyrese Maxey makes the first. And makes both free throws. Philadelphia trails by 5. Here goes Miami now. Pelle Larsson with a spin, misses the basket. And here comes Philadelphia. A setback 3 from Tyrese Maxey, that's a miss. Rebound by Davion Mitchell. He kicks it out to Pelle Larsson. And that's a turnover. Here come the Sixers now. Philadelphia's gone 1 for 6 from the 3-point line, while Miami has shot 66%. And that one goes out of bounds. That will be on Miami, so it'll be Philadelphia ball. Nice rejection from Tyrese Maxey over Davion Mitchell. Rebound by Davion Mitchell. Here comes Miami. Gives it to Norman Powell. That's a 3 on the way. That's a miss. Rebound by Philadelphia. Quentin Grimes now has it. Being guarded by Larsson. And Quentin Grimes gets the layup, And we'll go to... Oh, looks like Pelle Larsson took one in the mouth. Pelle Larsson appears to be fine, but it looks like it's going to be an offensive foul. Quentin Grimes shoved off on Larsson. Oof! He headbutted him too. Right, here comes Davion Mitchell. Gives it to Larsson. Larsson now being guarded by Grimes. Larsson finds Norman Powell. Almost loses the ball. Gets it right back. Norman Powell with the basket. And the Heat go up by 7. Here comes Quentin Grimes. Kicks it out to Tyrese Maxey. Tyrese Maxey directing traffic right now. Gives it to Paul George. And he knocks it down. The Sixers lead by 5. And here comes Pelle Larsson. Gives it to Davion Mitchell. Out to Bam. Bam gets fouled and will go to the line for 2 free throws. And we will have ourselves a timeout. The Heat lead 16-11 in the first quarter. And we are back. Score is 16-11, Miami. Bam Adebayo will go to the line for 2 free throws. After that nasty foul. Bam Adebayo going to the line. He makes the first, and is now a 6-point lead. And misses the second. And so Philadelphia will have the ball. Tyrese Maxey bringing it up. They're swinging the ball around. That's a three from Maxey. And he misses it. Rebound by Bam. Bam bringing it up to the floor. Gives it to Jaime Jaquez. Here comes Jaquez. Gives it out to Larson. Out to Davion Mitchell. And Davion Mitchell knocks down the corner jumper. So we have ourselves an 8-point game. Quentin Grimes kicks it out to Tyrese Maxey. And Tyrese Maxey gets a floater. So we got ourselves a 6-point game. And here comes Davion Mitchell. Kicks it out to Bam. That's a three. That's a miss. Rebound by Andre Drummond. Here comes Quentin Grimes. Being guarded by Jaquez. Out to Andre Drummond. And Andre Drummond gets the layup. Philadelphia trails by 4. And here comes Jaquez. With the spin. And he gets his shot blocked, but he recovers. Miami is swinging the ball around. The corner three from Bam. And that's another miss. Rebound by Philadelphia. Philadelphia loses the ball, and here comes Miami. They got numbers on the fast break, and Pelle Larsson gets the layup with the assist from Davion Mitchell. The Heat go up by 6. And here comes Philadelphia now. That's a corner three. That's a miss. Rebound by Norman Powell. Here comes Norman Powell going coast to coast, but he misses that layup. Here comes Philadelphia now. They give it to Tyrese Maxey. Maxey a three, and that's a miss. And here comes Davion Mitchell. Mitchell gives it to Jaquez, and that's an easy uncontested layup for Jaime Jaquez. The Heat lead by 8. And here comes Tyrese Maxey. That's a corner three from Quentin Grimes, and that's a miss. Rebound by Miami. Davion Mitchell bringing it up. And Davion Mitchell misses that layup. Tyrese Maxey with a spin, kicks it out, that's a three. And Justin Edwards knocks it down. Philadelphia trails by 5. Here comes Jaquez. Gives it to Bam, to Norman Powell. And that was going to be a foul on Justin Edwards. Tyrese Maxey, he is a phenomenal scorer right now for Philadelphia. He's already an All-Star, and I wouldn't be shocked to see if he makes the All-Star list again. Tyrese Maxey already with 9 points and 2 assists. Quentin Grimes comes out of the game, and so does Andre Drummond. McCain is in the game for Philadelphia. So we have Trendon Watford and Jared McCain and Dominic Barlow in the game for Philadelphia as Jaime Jaquez knocks down that layup. The Heat go up by 7. Here comes McCain. McCain driving it in, and he knocks down the basket. The Sixers trail by 5. Here comes Smith. Gives it to Kelly Ware. Out to Jaquez. Here comes Keshad Johnson. He had a phenomenal game against Chicago. And Kelly Ware will go to the line for 2 free throws. And I think we're going to have ourselves a timeout for this one. Yes, we are going to have a timeout. Miami leads 25-20. And we are back. Score is 25-20. Miami. The Heat have dominated this one so far. They've maintained a decent lead against the Sixers. So far, so good in this game. Bam Adebayo and Kelly Ware have stifled Andre Drummond a bit. Tyrese Maxey, I think he's on he has 9 points so far in this game. But the key for Miami is to not let him get hot in a hurry. And as for transitional play, so far it's been decent for Miami. Alright, so Kelly Ware is at the line. He makes the first. And he makes both free throws. So the Heat lead by 7. And here comes Tyrese Maxey now. Gives it to McCain. McCain out to Tyrese Maxey. Tyrese Maxey flies in and misses the layup. Rebound by Miami. Here comes somebody Fontecchio. Fontecchio drives into the lane. Rebound by Kelly Ware. Gets his shot blocked, but he recovers it. Kelly Ware continue to fight underneath the paint. And he will go to the line for 2 free throws. Kelly Ware misses the first. And Kelly Ware goes 1 of 2 from the line. The Heat lead by 8. Philadelphia now bringing out the ball. And they missed that layup, but they'll go to the line for 2 free throws. That foul was on Keshad Johnson. Trenton Wofford will go to the line for 2 free throws. and Trenton Walford makes both free throws. The Sixers lead by 6. The Sixers trail by 6, excuse me. Here comes Drew Smith. Misses that layup. Rebound by Kel'el Ware. And the putback. And Kel'el Ware will go to the line for the and one. I'm loving the improvement in the production I'm seeing from Kel'el Ware right now. He had a bumpy start this season, but now he's finding his groove and he's finding that rhythm. Kel'el Ware already flirting with a double-double. And he gets the and one. The Heat lead by 9. Kel'el Ware already with 8 points and 8 rebounds. Here comes Tyrese Maxey. Here comes Jared McCain. McCain misses a rebound. And here comes the Heat. Hawkins to Kel'el Superboy Ware. Sorry, that was Keshad Johnson. My mistake. I'm mistaken him for Kel'el Ware on that one. And there goes Tyrese Maxey again for Philadelphia. Keshad Johnson now has the ball. To Hawkins. Hawkins with the spin, the layup, and it's good. The Heat lead by 11. Here comes Justin Edwards. That's a 3 on the way from Trenton Walford. And that one goes in with a lucky bounce and everything. Philadelphia trails by 8. Here comes Hawkins. Hawkins gives it to Keshad Johnson. No foul call. Philadelphia recovers the ball, but Miami comes up with a steal. Drew Smith now has it. Drew Smith being guarded by Jarrett McCain. Here comes Drew Smith, flying into the lane, and he gets a layup. The Heat lead by 10. Tyrese Maxey with the heave, and that's an air ball. At the end of the first quarter, the score is 37-27, Miami. we are back. Score is 39-29 Miami. Sorry, 37-27 Miami. The Heat now have the ball. They give it to Simone Fontecchio. That's a three. That's a miss. Rebound by Kel'el Ware. That's also a missed layup. They are fighting for the ball. It's knocked loose. They are just fighting all over the place for it. It is recovered by Kel'el Ware. But it's recovered by Philadelphia. Brenton Wofford bringing it up for the Sixers. Gives it to Andre Drummond. Back out to Wofford. Paul George. George being guarded by Drew Smith. Back out to Watford. Back out to Paul George. And that basket is good. Here comes Simone Fontecchio. Gives it to Jaquez. Out to Fontecchio. Corner three. And Simone La Dolce Vita Fontecchio. Three for Miami. And that layup is good for Jarrett McCain. The Sixers trail by 9. And here comes the Heat. Jaquez now has the ball. Kel'el Ware for three. And Kel'el Superboy Ware. 3 for Miami. The Heat lead by 12. Paul George with a long three, and he misses that one. Rebound by Fontecchio. And here comes Jaquez with a spin and the putback. Spin and the basket. The Heat lead by 14 in this one. Here comes Jarrett McCain. He gives it to Watford. Here comes Watford. Watford misses that one, but Andre Drummond was there to get the putback. Score is 45-33 Miami. Here comes Jaquez. Jaquez with the turnaround and another basket. The Heat lead by 14. Jaquez now with 10 points on 5 for 6 shooting from the field, and that's going to be an offensive foul on Philadelphia, so it will be Heat ball. Jarrett McCain was the one who pushed off, and Sixers coach Nick Nurse does not look happy about it. Drew Smith now bringing the ball up for Miami. Ball almost got stolen, but it will go right back to the Heat. Last touch by Paul George. And here come the Heat now. Simone Fontecchio finds Drew Smith. And Drew Smith gets a layup. And the Heat lead by 16. Here comes Paul George. Gives it to Andre Drummond, and he gets the layup. Philadelphia trails by 14. Here comes Fontecchio. Out to Kel'el Ware. I'm sorry, that was Drew Smith. I think we may have a foul on our hands. So it looks like we may have a quick timeout for both teams. so it'll be Philadelphia's ball. They trail by 14. And that basket is good for Philadelphia. The Sixers trail by 12. Keshad Johnson has a missed three and rebound by Paul George. Almost came up with the steal, but it will go right back to Philadelphia. All right, Philadelphia will have it side out. They give it to Jarrett McCain. McCain driving into the lane. Miss, and that's going to be a putback by Andre Drummond. The Sixers trail by 10. Here comes Keshad Johnson out to Fontecchio. That's a missed three. And it will go right back to Philadelphia. The Sixers are starting to make a comeback in this one. They've been hustling for second chance points in this game. Andre Drummond so far with 6 points and 11 rebounds, also flirting with a double-double. Here goes Paul George. Misses the basket, but rebound by Justin Edwards. And now the Sixers trail by 8. Here comes Drew Smith. Out to Fontecchio. To Hawkins. Hawkins with the spin. Gets his shot blocked. And here come the Sixers now. Looking to add another basket. And that one will go in for Trent Watford. And he will go for the and one. And we will have ourselves a timeout. The Miami leads 49-43, but the Sixers are making a comeback. And we are back. Score is 49-43 Miami as Trenton Walford knocks down that and one opportunity. So it's now a five-point game for Miami. The Sixers are now on an 11-0 run. No basket answered by Miami. Pelle Larsson losing that ball, but it's recovered by Davion Mitchell. Here comes Mitchell. He misses that basket. Rebound by Andre Drummond. And here comes Paul George. The Sixers are passing the ball around to give it to Watford. Here comes Paul George. Paul George driving into the lane. Loses the ball. Bam out of ball, wrestling for it. And I think this one's going to be a jump ball. Either it's going to be a jump ball or Sixers will retain possession. Alright, so Philadelphia will have a side out. They give it to Tyrese Maxey. Maxey now being guarded by Keshad Johnson. Tyrese Maxey kicks it out. That's a three. And the Sixers knock down a three-pointer. And we now have a 2-point game. The Sixers now on a 14-0 run. Here comes Pelle Larsson. Loses the ball, but that's going to be a foul on the Sixers. Alright, so the Heat will have it side out. They give it to Norman Powell. Powell missing that basket. Rebound by Philadelphia. The Sixers are looking to retake the lead. Here comes Quentin Grimes. There we see Allen Iverson in the building, along with a few other 76ers legends such as Theo Ratliff. All right, the Sixers will have it side out. No basket called. Quentin Grimes gets the lane, and that was an uncontested layup. And we have ourselves a tie game at 49. Here comes Davion Mitchell. Out to Pelle Larsson. Back out to Davion Mitchell. That's a three. And good night, off night, Davion Mitchell. Three to give Miami the lead. And that will end the Sixers 16-0 run. Rebound by Bam. Gives it to Davion Mitchell. Out to Norman Powell. That's a long three. And go Norman Powell Ranger. That's a three for Miami. The Heat lead by 6. Here comes Quentin Grimes. Gives it to Watford. Out to Maxey. That's a three on the way. And that's good. Corner three for Philadelphia. The Sixers trail by 3. Here comes Norman Powell. Gives it to Bam. Bam. It's a corner three from Davion Mitchell. That's a miss. And here come the Sixers. Looking to tie the game. They give it to Tyrese Maxey. That's a three. That's a miss. Rebound by Bam. Bam gives it to Davion Mitchell. Back out to Bam. And Bam will go to the line for 2 free throws. Bam gets the first. makes both free throws. So the Heat go up by 5. And here comes the Sixers now. Quentin Grimes kicks it out. Ball is stolen loose, and here comes Miami on a fast break. Norman Powell gets the layup, and the Heat go up by 7. Philadelphia swinging the ball around. They give it to Quentin Grimes for the 3. And Quentin Grimes knocked down that 3. The Sixers trail by 4. Here comes Bam. Bam loses the ball, but Norman Powell's there to get the rebound and the putback. The Heat lead by 6. Tyrese Maxey. And that's going to be out of bounds on Philadelphia. Last touch by Justin Edwards. And so we may have a timeout here. We will have a timeout. Score is 61-55, Miami. And we are back. Score is 61-55 Miami. And there's a layup for Norman Powell. The Heat go up by 8. Here comes Andre Drummond. Gives it to Quentin Grimes. Out to Tyrese Maxey. Back out to Grimes. Here comes Grimes. And Grimes gets the layup and will go for the and-1. That foul was on Pelle Larsson. And Quentin Grimes makes the and-1. Philadelphia trails by 5. Here comes Bam, and he gets the basket. So it's 65-58 Miami. Here comes Jarrett McCain. Gives it to Tyrese Maxey. To Justin Edwards. Justin Edwards loses the ball, but it was last touched by Miami. Philadelphia will have it side out. They give it to Jarrett McCain. And that's going to be a foul on Miami. I think that foul was on Norman Powell, so the Sixers will have it side out. Here comes Tyrese Maxey, gives it to Grimes, back out to Maxey, back out to Quentin Grimes. Here comes Justin Edwards. Tyrese Maxey with an impossible 3-point shot. Oh my goodness. And the Sixers trail by 4. Here comes Pelle Larsson. And Philadelphia comes up with a steal. Tyrese Maxey again, corner 3. And Tyrese Maxey knocks it down. The Sixers trail by 1. Here goes Bam. And he knocks it down. The Heat lead by 3. Here comes Tyrese Maxey again. Being guarded by Davion Mitchell. Gives it to Jarrett McCain. Back out to Maxey. Maxey directing traffic, looking for a screen. He gets it. Being guarded by Norman Powell. That's a 3 from Jarrett McCain. And McCain ties the game at 3. He ties the game with that 3. We are all tied at 67. Here comes Norman Powell. And that's going to be a foul on Jarrett McCain. Yes, that will be a foul on Quentin Grimes. Sorry. That was on Quentin Grimes. And Norman Powell will go to the line for 3 free throws. If I said it once, I'll say it again. You don't foul a shooter when they're going for the 3. And speaking of 3s, that was a fantastic basket from Tyrese Maxey. So Norman Powell, he misses the first. He knocks down the second. So Miami will take a 1-point lead. Kel'el Ware comes in the game for Miami. Pelle Larsson will take a seat. And Norman Powell knocks down that 3rd basket. So Miami leads by 2. Here comes Philadelphia, missing that 3. Rebound by Kel'el Ware. Here comes Jaime Jaquez. Out to Davion Mitchell. Davion Mitchell gives it to Norman Powell. That's a 3. And Norman Powell misses it. So that's going to be another, I think that's going to be another foul on Quentin Grimes. So Norman Powell's back at the line for 3 free throws. Once again, you don't foul a shooter when they're going for the 3. Norman Powell knocks down the first. Norman Powell makes a second. Bruce Smith now in the game for Miami. Justin Edwards will take a seat for Philadelphia. And Norman Powell misses that third free throw. Here come the Sixers. They give it to Andrew Drummond, missing that three. And at the end of the second quarter, score 71-67 Miami. So in the first quarter, it was back and forth until Miami established their dominance on the boards on both ends of the floor. Kel'el Ware looked great. Keshad Johnson still looks good. Jaime Jaquez Jr. and Bam Adebayo getting some baskets of their own. Miami dominated in the first quarter, but Philadelphia came roaring back in the second quarter, going on a 16-0 run to not only tie the game at certain points, but the Heat managed to stave them off from getting the lead. So the Heat made some minor adjustments to get themselves back into the lead again, by not only putting back in Davion Mitchell for defensive purposes, but also bringing back in Kel'el Ware and Jaime Jaquez Jr., as well as Bam Adebayo. So far, this one is a close game, but in the third quarter, I don't think Philadelphia are gonna stay trailing for long. The Sixers are gonna come back and try to not only dominate but extend their lead, possibly, or at least try to build a lead so they can extend it, I should say. So far in this one, the Heat looks solid, but we'll see what they can do in the second half. And we are back for the third quarter. Score 71-67, Miami. And here we go with Davion Mitchell finding Pelle Larsson. Gives it to Kel'el Ware, and he finds the basket. The Heat go up by 6. Here comes Tyrese Maxey. They give it to Quentin Grimes. Out back to Maxey. And here comes Justin Edwards. And he misses that basket. Rebound by Bam. Here comes Davion Mitchell. Bam, that's a 3. That's a miss. Rebound by Tyrese Maxey. And here comes Philadelphia. They give it to Justin Edwards. Justin Justin Edwards looking for the three. Nope, he goes inside the lane. Ball is knocked loose and it will remain with the Sixers. And that one will be out of bounds on the Sixers, so it will be Heat ball. Here come the Heat now. They give it to Pelle Larsson. Larsson finds Davion Mitchell. To Kel'el Ware. Kel'el Ware with spin, but misses the layup. Here comes Tyrese Maxey. Maxey drives it in. Misses the layup. Rebound by Davion Mitchell, and here come the Heat in a hurry. They give it to Pelle Larsson. Misses that layup, but Bam is there for the dunk. But that's gonna be but the basket came after the foul. Pelle Larsson getting fouled by Quentin Grimes. And here comes Bam afterwards. So Pelle Larsson will go to the line for 2 free throws. Pelle Larsson knocks down the first. And Pelle Larsson makes both free throws. Score is 75-67 Miami. And here comes Tyrese Maxey now. Quentin Grimes gets fouled by Norman Powell, so that's an off-ball foul. All right, here we go. Philadelphia has the ball again. Quentin Grimes kicks it out to Justin Edwards as a missed corner 3. Here comes Miami now. They give it to Davion Mitchell. Davion Mitchell out to Larsson. Finds Bam. Bam flies in for the layup. And that's going to be an offensive foul on the Heat. So we going right back to Philadelphia. Bam got a little too aggressive as he was going to go for the layup, knocking out Dominic Barlow out of the way. And here comes the Sixers now. That's a corner 3. That's a miss. Rebound by Andre Drummond, and he also misses that layup. Davion Mitchell now has the ball for Miami. Flies in for the layup, misses it. But that's going to be a traveling violation on the Heat, so the ball will go right back to Philadelphia. Dominic Barlow. Here's Tyrese Maxey. Tyrese Maxey flies in and misses the layup. Rebound by Bam. Bam now in a hurry. Gives it to Pelle Larsson to Norman Powell. And Norman Powell gets fouled shooting a 3. So Norman Powell will go to the line for 3 free throws again. And once again, you don't foul a shooter when they're going for the 3. Norman Powell misses the first. Norman Powell makes the second. So we now have a 9-point game. Jared McCain is now entering the game for Philadelphia. Dominic Barlow will take a seat. And Norman Powell makes both free throws. So we now makes the third free throw. So now it's a 10-point game. So on the floor now for Philadelphia is Tyrese Maxey, Andre Drummond, Paul George, Justin Edwards, and Jared McCain. On the floor for Miami, we have Davion Mitchell, Kel'el Ware, Pelle Larsson, Bam Adebayo, and Norman Powell. Miami is swinging the ball around. They give it to Norman Powell, and go Norman Powell Ranger! That's a 3 for Miami. The Heat lead by 13. That was a nice corner 3 from Norman Powell to get the Heat back up by 13. Paul George now at the line. Paul George makes the first. He misses the second. And he makes his third. So Paul George goes 2 of 3 from the free throw line. Here comes Pelle Larsson. Gives it to Davion Mitchell. And here comes Pelle Larsson, missing that layup. Rebound by Andre Drummond. Here comes Philadelphia now. Jared McCain with the ball. Being guarded by Davion Mitchell. And that's going to be a foul on Miami. Foul was on Davion Mitchell. Alright, here comes Tyrese Maxey. Gives it to Jared McCain. Back out to Maxey. Back to McCain for a 3. And that's a miss. Rebound by Kel'el Ware. And that's a long 3 for Norman Powell. He misses it. Rebound by Philadelphia. Justin Edwards now has the ball. Justin Edwards driving in, and he gets the layup. The Sixers trail by 9. Tyrese Maxey finds Bam for the corner 3, and Bam Adebayo knocks down that corner 3. The assist from Davion Mitchell. And the Heat lead by 12. Tyrese Maxey now has the ball, being guarded by Bam. That's a long 3, and that's a miss. Rebound by Davion Mitchell. Gives it to Larsson. Rebound by Bam. And Bam puts it in, and we'll go for the and-1. Oh, sorry. It looks like we're going to have a timeout first. The Heat lead 85-71. And we are back. Score is 85-71 Miami. Miami so far, they've been dominating on the basket. But don't count Philadelphia out just yet. Alright, here comes Tyrese Maxey. Maxey directing traffic. Being guarded by Davion Mitchell. Here goes Philadelphia. Trendon Watford gets the basket. Miami now looking to respond. Pelle Larsson missing that layup, but he will go to the line for 2 free throws. Pelle Larsson now at the line. He has 4 points and 7 assists in this game. Larsson missing the first. And he misses both free throws. And here comes Philadelphia. Tyrese Maxey has the ball. Ball knocked loose by Miami, and it will remain with Philadelphia. Alright, Philadelphia has the ball now. They give it to Paul George. McCain for 3. And Jared McCain knocks down the long 3. Philadelphia, they trail by 9 in this one. Here comes Bam, being guarded by Andre Drummond. Bam misses the layup, rebound by Andre Drummond. Here comes Paul George now. Paul George a 3. That's a miss. Rebound by Pelle Larsson. Gives it to Norman Powell. Rebound by Philadelphia. And here come the Sixers. They got numbers. That's a 3 from Tyrese Maxey. And that's gonna prompt a timeout for Miami. The Heat lead 85-79. And the Sixers are once again on a roll. And we are back. Philadelphia still trying to make this a close game. As Tyrese Maxey knocks down that corner three. And here come the Heat now. They give it to Jaquez. And Jaime Jaquez gets that layup. So the Heat lead 91-86. So far, Philadelphia has been on a run, going on a 15-6 run at that. Paul George missing that three. And here come the Heat. Keshad Johnson loses that ball, but it was last touched by Paul George. Here come the Heat now. And that's going to be an offensive foul on Miami. So that would be Philadelphia ball. Here comes Tyrese Maxey now. He gives it to Paul George. That's a corner three, and that's a miss. Rebound by Kel'el Ware. And here comes Jaime Jaquez. Jaquez flying in, finds Kel'el. Superboy Ware! And we now have a 7-point game for Miami. Tyrese Maxey now has the ball. And that's a missed opportunity from Trent Watford. Here comes Miami again. Gives it to Fontecchio. To Jaquez. Jaime Jaquez. And he gets the basket. So it's now a 9-point game for Miami. Alright, Philadelphia gives the ball to Paul George. To Andre Drummond. And that's a basket. The Sixers trail by 7. Here comes Fontecchio. Gives it to Drew Smith. That's a corner three. That's a miss. And Keshad Johnson flies in for the dunk. Heat go up by 9. Here comes Tyrese Maxey gets the layup. We have ourselves a 7-point game again. That's a three. That's a miss for Simone Fontecchio, but rebound by Kel'el Ware. Drew Smith now has the ball. Drew Smith flies in for the layup and he gets it. The Heat lead by 9 in this one. Here comes Tyrese Maxey. Gives it to Paul George. That's a corner three from Andre Drummond, and he knocks it down. And that will end the third quarter. The score is 99-93 Miami. I'll be back for the fourth quarter. And we are back. Score is 99-93 Miami. The fourth quarter is on the way, and we're going to see a lot of big-time shots from both teams. So far, Philadelphia has been trying to claw their way back into this game. Right, Jared McCain has the ball for Philadelphia. Jared McCain flies into the lane, misses that layup, and here comes Miami now. Here comes Jaquez. Jaquez. No, that's an offensive foul on Miami. Jaquez Jr. doesn't think that was an offensive foul, and neither do I. But seeing that replay, he did shove off on Quentin Grimes. And that's a three for Philadelphia, and that's a miss. Rebound by Drew Smith. That's an open three for Kel'el Ware, and Kel'el Superboy Ware knocks down that three. The Heat go up by 9. Here comes Quentin Grimes, being guarded by Drew Smith. Trenton Watford. That's a three on the way for Philadelphia, and they get it. So the Sixers trail by 6. That's a three. That's a miss for Miami. Here comes Trenton Watford. Here comes Quentin Grimes. Out to Andre Drummond. Justin Edwards kicks it out to McCain. Andre Drummond missing that layup, but he will go to the line for 2 free throws. Andre Drummond makes the first. And he misses the second. And here comes Jaime Jaquez. The Sixers trail by 5. Here comes Simone Fontecchio. The alley-oop to Kel'el Superboy Ware. The Heat lead by 7. And that one's going to be a traveling violation on Philadelphia. Simone Fontecchio finding Kel'el Ware for that monstrous alley-oop. And now it's a nice poster on Andre Drummond too. Here comes Miami now. They give it to Jaquez. Jaquez loses the ball. McCain now has it. Kicks it out to Justin Edwards. He misses the layup. Philadelphia recovers the ball. And Quentin Grimes did just enough to angle his body for the basket. Philadelphia trails by 5. Here comes Miami now. They lose the ball again. And here comes Philadelphia. On a fast break, they got numbers. And Quentin Grimes gets that layup. And that's going to lead to a Miami Heat timeout. The Heat lead 104-101. And the 76ers are once again knocking on that door to take over. we are back. Score is 104-101 Miami. The Sixers are starting to make another comeback. Hopefully the Heat can do just enough to stave them off. And when I mean stave them off, I mean get it done on both ends of the floor. Because right now, Quentin Grimes and Tyrese Maxey are leading that offense for Philadelphia. Quentin Grimes, he has 15 points in this one, going 6 for 11 from the field. And here comes the Heat. Jaime Jaquez gets his shot blocked, but he will go to the line for 2 free throws. Jaime Jaquez Jr. missing that first free throw. And Jaime Jaquez knocks down the second. So we now have a 4-point game. Here comes Quentin Grimes. Directing traffic, gives it to Jared McCain. Jared McCain guarded by Drew Smith. McCain loses the ball, but stolen away by Drew Smith. Kelly Ware gets his shot blocked under duress. And here comes Philadelphia now. And Trenton Walford goes coast to coast for that layup. Philadelphia are within 2. Here comes Drew Smith, corner 3, and Drewski Smith 3 for Miami. The Heat lead by 5. Here comes Jared McCain, guarded by Pelle Larsson. That's a 3 on the way. That's a miss. Rebound by Pelle Larsson. Both teams so far have made 48.1% from the field. So we got a near evenly matched game. As Jaime Jaquez Jr. gets the layup, and that's going to prompt a 76ers timeout. The Miami Heat lead 110-103. We are back. Score is 110 to 103. The Heat have a 7-point lead, but Philadelphia continues to knock on that door and looking to retake the lead. So anything can happen between now and the final buzzer. Philadelphia now has the ball. They give it to Quentin Grimes. Out to Justin Edwards. They give it to Trent Watford. I'm sorry, that Tyrese Maxey. Tyrese Maxey being guarded by Powell. Swings it out to Justin Edwards. And that's going to be a 24-second violation on the Sixers. So it'll be Heat ball. Here comes Hawkes, gives it to Drew Smith. And that's going to be a traveling violation on Miami. So it'll be Sixers ball. Drew Smith will come out of the game and Davion Mitchell will hit the floor. And here comes Tyrese Maxey, misses that floater, rebound by Davion Mitchell. Mitchell out to Powell. Powell gets his shot blocked, but he recovers it. Gives it to Bam Adebayo, and he knocks it down. And the Heat go up by 9. Here comes Tyrese Maxey. Gives the ball to Justin Edwards. Back out to Maxey, being guarded by Davion Mitchell. And that basket goes in for Philadelphia. They lead by 7. The Heat are swinging the ball around. They give it to Hawkes. To Larson. Larson gets the layup and will go for the and-one. That foul's on Dominic Barlow. Nice play to cut inside to the lane. And Pelle Larsson misses the and-one. So we have a 9-point game. Here goes Philadelphia. Quentin Grimes now has the ball. And that's a 3 on the way. That's a good rebound by Davion Mitchell. Davion Mitchell going coast to coast, but misses that layup. Here comes Philadelphia now. Justin Edwards has it. Justin Edwards comes up short on that layup. Here comes Bam. And he gets the uncontested dunk. And that will prompt yet another Philadelphia 76ers timeout. The Heat lead 116 to 105. we are back. Score is 115 to 106. Miami so far, they have been dominating this fourth quarter. Here comes Philadelphia. They give it to Tyrese Maxey. Quentin Grimes. Grimes misses that layup. And here comes Miami. Norman Powell flies in for the layup and he gets it. So Miami leads by 13. Here comes Philadelphia now. That's a corner three. And that's a miss. Rebound by Pelle Larsson. Davion Mitchell now has it. Gives it to Bam. Corner three from Pelle Larsson. And that's a no-go. Here comes Tyrese Maxey. Gives it to Trenton Watford for the dunk. Score is now 118-107. Bam now has the ball. Being guarded by Quentin Grimes. With the basket, it's a miss. Pelle Larsson with the back tap to Norman Powell. That's a missed three. Rebound by Philadelphia. Trenton Watford brings it up. Gives it to Tyrese Maxey. And that's going to be a basket for Tyrese Maxey, and that will prompt a Miami Heat timeout. The Heat lead 118 to 109. And we are back. Score is 118 to 109. Miami. Philadelphia so far has been trying to make a comeback in this one. Here comes Miami now. They give it to Norman Powell. Gets the ball tucking away from him. Here comes Philadelphia. They give it to Tyrese Maxey. Tyrese Maxey getting double teamed. Bam, diving for the ball, but it's going to be a jump ball. It's going to be a jump ball between Bam and Trenton Watford. wins the tip, but Philadelphia has the ball. Quentin Grimes now being guarded by Bam. Quentin Grimes misses that basket. Rebound by Andre Drummond, but it's stolen away by Miami. Here come the Heat now. They give it to Pelle Larsson. He misses that three. Rebound by Bam. They give it to Davion Mitchell. And Jaime Jaquez Jr. gets the easy, uncontested layup. Nice assist from Davion Mitchell. The Heat go up by 11. That's a three on the way. And that's a miss. Rebound by Miami. And they find Pelle Larsson almost loses the ball. But Philadelphia steps out of bounds. Miami will have it side out. They give it to Norman Powell, and that's an easy layup. The Heat go up by 13. And here comes Tyrese Maxey, missing that three. Rebound by Barlow, and he gets the layup. Philadelphia trails by 11. Here comes Jaquez. He gives it to Davion Mitchell. Davion Mitchell flying in, gives it to Norman Powell. Norman Powell out to Larsson. That's a three. And that's a miss. Rebound by Philadelphia. Brandon Wofford stays with it, but he will go to the line for 2 free throws. Brandon Wofford at the line. He makes the first. And the Sixers now trail by 10. And Brandon Wofford goes 1 of 2 from the line. Here comes Davion Mitchell. Gives it to Jaime Jaquez Jr. And Jaquez gets the layup and will go for the and one. Jaime Jaquez Jr. right now with 21 points, 7 assists, going 10 for 12 from the field. And Norman Powell will come out of the game and take a seat. Jaquez knocks down that basket. So we now have a 13-point game. Here comes Philadelphia now. Philadelphia missing that basket. So there'll be 2 free throws for the Sixers. Sixers make the first. and they go 1 of 2 from the line. Here comes Keshad Johnson. They give it to Jahmir Young. Jahmir Young gets the layup. Here comes Jarrett McCain, and he gets fouled. Jarrett McCain will go to the line for 2 free throws. Jarrett McCain makes the first. And he makes both free throws. Alright, Miami swinging the ball around. Here comes Jahmir Young. That's a missed 3. Here comes Jarrett McCain. And that's a dunk from Dominic Barlow. And that will do it. The Heat come out on top, 127 to 117. This one was another high-octane, high-scoring game from the Miami Heat and, of course, the Philadelphia 76ers. Bam Adebayo and Kelly Ware, especially Kelly Ware, dominated in the paint against Andre Drummond and Dominic Barlow, which was one of the keys that I talked about. I also mentioned that the Heat needed to control and dictate the pace, which they did against Tyrese Maxey. And as far as transitional game and on both offense and defense, we saw some flashes of it, but not enough throughout much of the game. Even though Philadelphia went on a few runs here and there, Miami managed to stave off a possible 76ers comeback with some key baskets, some key stops on both ends of the floor. So that was much needed, especially when they weren't making any baskets up until that point. I also love what I'm seeing from the young core of Jaime Jaquez Jr., Simone Fontecchio. Keshad Johnson continues to improve. I mean, he's showing that athleticism and dominance. Plus, Kelly Ware, I thought he was going to have a double-double within the first quarter. At that time, he had 8 points and 7 rebounds in the first quarter. I thought for sure he was going to have a double-double in the first quarter. But Kelly Ware continues to not only improve, but that footwork of his is starting to improve as well. It looks pretty good, but I think he could do more. So let's see what this humble beast can do later down in the season. So as of this moment, the Heat have now won 4 in a row and continue to be a hot team in the NBA. For the Heat, Norman Powell led the way with 32 points. Davion Mitchell had 8 points, 8 rebounds, and 12 assists, a near triple-double. Jaime Jaquez Jr. had 22 points and 7 assists. And we have a pair of double-doubles. Bam Adebayo with 18 points and 13 rebounds, and Kelly Ware with 20 points and 16 rebounds. And for the 76ers, Paul George had 10 points, Quentin Grimes with 15 points, Tyrese Maxey led the way with 27 points, which was basically half of the points he made from a few nights ago with that 54-point performance. Quentin Rawford came off the bench with 19 points, 9 rebounds, and 7 assists, a near triple-double. Jarrett McCain with 15 points, and Andre Drummond had 14 points and 23 rebounds. So the Miami Heat continue their winning ways, as they should. But the next time we see the Heat, they will be back home at the Kaseya Center, as they have a big test ahead of them, taking on Anthony Davis, Kyrie Irving, Klay Thompson, Daniel Gafford, and rookie Cooper Flagg in the Dallas Mavericks. That game starts Monday at 7:30 p.m. on FanDuel Sports Network Sun and NBA League Pass. Again, the Heat return home to face the Dallas Mavericks. That game starts tomorrow at 7:30 p.m. on FanDuel Sports Network Sun and NBA League Pass. Thank you for tuning in for another edition of Heat Zone Live. It was an early afternoon game, usually reserved for football, but hey, the earlier the better. But I will see you guys again tomorrow for the Heat Mavericks game. Love you guys. Take care. Look out for one another. Be kind to one another, because you never know when that day comes. I'm Deron Butler, reminding you to always run through the paint. Take care. God bless. And I will see you guys tomorrow.